Hello ladies and gentlemen, FrozenStag here, and welcome back to the first Empire Total War faction vote. As you can see from our last historical Total War campaign scenario vote, Empire Total War have won. So these are the results of the poll for anyone interested. Voting has ended 5 hours ago, so there's no further votes. Empire has won, only by 1 vote, but I think it's a pretty clear win at this point. Coming in second place, or joint second place, was Rome 1, Tassadams, and Shogun 2. Interesting results there. But Empire won, so Empire Total War it is. So, thank you for voting in that last poll. Not many people voted, but that's okay. I am not really known in recent years for doing historical content for Total War. It's been a lot of fantasy stuff lately. So, as I now go back to historical content on once a week, I hope that many more people will join the channel from historical videos, now from Empire Total War. So let's move on. So we are going to be doing the Total War faction vote today. In the description of this video, you will find a link that will take you to the straw poll, and you will find 15 options. You can vote for multiple options, and this vote will not end until a clear majority has been chosen. You can't see the results until I did actually visible. Yeah, I kind of screwed that up because the results aren't visible, but I'll edit that out. Actually, I just do it right now. Don't look at the results a minute, because I'm gonna do something like that in a minute. Visible. Hang on. After the poll has ended, this is so professional. There you go. Right, don't look at any of that, because I'm just saving changes. There you go. Anyway. Did I block VPN users? Because that's kind of... Because I imagine a lot of people quite use VPNs, so I'm just going to take that off. Because, I don't know. So yeah, instead of going through the options and talking about them for like 20 minutes, we're just going to go through and show the starting positions off in the game. And go from there, pretty much. So yeah, so the results of the poll will be visible once you've, you can vote more than one option, and the results of the poll will be visible after the poll has ended. So I'll conclude it whenever I feel like a majority option has won. In terms of other majority options, something I will quickly tell you about before we jump in, just because for those of my DAC viewers will be interested to know, but for those also from DAC and interested in what the results are for the other poll, then after 43 votes, I'm sort of trying to see if we get to about 51. But I might call it to a quit, because right now, as of recording, and this Dwarfs of Erebor are quite firmly in the lead by at least 4 votes past the R9. So it looks to be the Dwarfs of Erebor is our upcoming campaign for DAC, which hopefully will start in a few weeks' time. So just for those interested for that, Erebor is probably likely to be the next campaign you see for DAC. So, we're going to go through each one in the campaigns, on like the starting screen, not the in-game map, because that would just take me too long. So, yeah. So, there's different campaigns, because I'm using Darth Mod, so there's various different campaigns to choose from. You've got the early campaign, which is just your standard 1700 start date, with added factions and different movements to regions. Ultimate Late is the late era campaign, so it's a campaign in 1783. And it's just after the events of the American Wars of Independence. Now, the Uprising campaign uses the Warpath submod, and that's basically a submod where all the natives are in one alliance versus the Europeans, basically, and the US. And then you got the normal start dates as the Grand and Warpath, which is just the normal start dates with the Warpath and Grand campaigns, just with the additions of Darth Mod and additional features. Custom is basically the early start date again, just with added factions that you can't normally play as, which is quite cool. There's a few on here, so the Road to Independence campaign is available. You just have to go for the Empire Grand campaign or any other campaign, I think. And you have a few different options for Darth mods, such as turns per year. You can change the gameplay features, graphics features, as well as audio. Because there is actually music for this, but it's pretty loud, so I'm not going to turn it off. So yeah, we'll jump through each option and I'll view them in the campaign and then just go through which one. So we've got 15 options to choose from, and I've split it out as best as I can. So you have a couple factions from the normal Grand campaign, the WC, which is just a standard Warpath campaign, one faction from the Road to Independence campaign, because there's only one, one from the Uprising campaign, because I'm going to pick another one somewhere else. The early era campaign and late era campaign and CC. So next to each faction, you'll have in brackets what campaign it is. So for the US, it would be the Road to Independence campaign. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But anyway, let's jump into the vote. And yeah, if all goes according to plan, I will hopefully have this series out for you on the 5th of April, which would be good. And anyway, that's all for now. I'll quickly go through and show off each faction. And for those that just wanted to hear a bit of information about the vote, then there you go. So in the description of the video, you can find a link. Click on that, and it will take you to this page, and you can vote whatever option you fancy. And in a couple of weeks' time, I will see you then. But I'll go through the vote. I'll go through the each campaign to show you what sort of starting position and what sort of campaign you're voting for. So let's do that. Okay, let's go take a look at the 3 options from the Grand Campaign and Road Independence Campaign, because there's no other option for that, so let's show it now. So the Road Independence Campaign, if you vote for the United States, it won't just start with the US, it will start with the 3 episodes first of the Road Independence Campaign, and then we'll go into the US as the 4th part of that series. So the episode 1 is the Jamestown Colony. You play as the basically the Jamestown Colony, and you fight against the natives that occupy the region there. Once you fight them, then the campaign ends. Then you move on to episode 2, which is the French and Indian War. So you basically play as a part of, as George Washington, as a part of the Jamestown force, I guess. And then you basically fight the French and Indians. And then you move on to episode 3, which is the American War of Independence. You start with the Battle of Bunker's Hill as the Americans, and you fight against the British to establish your independence. Then after that, once you've done that, you play as the United States as a proper campaign. We move on to the other factions for the Grand Campaign then. So, the first, of course, is Great Britain. I could not play as Great Britain. I absolutely love Great Britain. Being English myself, it feels thematic, doesn't it really? The other faction is the Marathar Confederacy. I quite like the Marathar Confederacy. I think they're quite a cool little Indian faction, and generally, I just like the starting position. They're not too big, they're just quite fun. I think they're quite an interesting little faction if you want to play somewhere completely different. Some ideas I've seen before, it's very popular ideas, is actually conquering Britain and do the reverse Raj campaign, which I've seen quite a few times. Moving on then to the next one is United Provinces. I was very much inspired by Fishy Devon's little RP campaign did as the United Provinces. I thought that was really cool, and I'm all for playing as the United Provinces. They share the same monarch as England, being William the... No. William the Second? Yes. No. Maybe William the Third. I'm not sure. No. William the Third. Yes, of course. Silly. So United Provinces, you have it's quite a cool little faction. You start off with the Netherlands, of course, and you have a region in each part of the America and India campaign. So I think it's pretty cool. Moving on to the next one then. Okay, moving on to the Warpath campaign. Now, there's quite a few different native factions to choose from. Again, for those unfamiliar, the Warpath campaign is a map. Is a mod. I played too much Melee too. It's a DLC campaign which focuses on the Americas and on the native factions. There's 5 to choose from, and for this vote, I've gone with 2. The first one is the Iroquois Confederacy. I quite like the Iroquois. They're quite interesting people, and generally, I just think they're really cool. So that's the Iroquois Confederacy. That's part of the reasons why I want to play these campaigns. I just think they're cool. Another one this is actually for the Uprising campaign. Now, you can't see the starting position for them for the Uprising campaign, so what I will do is show off the Huron Wyandotte. And this is pretty much their starting position for the UEC campaign as well. The UEC campaign uses the exact same map, just the addition of other factions as well. So yeah. So you have the Huron Wyandotte. They're going to be for the UC, not the Warpath campaign. So they will be featured in the UC campaign should they win the vote. So the Iroquois Confederacy, and finally the Pueblo Nations. Just because I like their starting position so close to Spain. It's quite a hard position. I quite like the Pueblo Nations. They're very much, it's almost like the descendants of the Apaches that have been routed out of America. Mexico to be more exact. There's of course other ones like the Plains Nation and Cherokee. I just found the other 3 more interesting. So there you go. Moving on to the next one then. It sounds so weird. Listen to to the volume up. It sounds so weird hearing Star Wars music for Empire Total War. I'm almost certainly going to get copyrighted, but it's kind of funny. Anyway, so on to the campaign then. Why this music just throws me off completely. Moving on to the next option, which is Prussia. I love Prussia. I do think they're a really cool German faction, and you may recall many moons ago I played as Prussia for Lyceum Total War, the first version they did. Didn't go quite well in that campaign. I didn't quite do what I wanted to do, but I kind of wanted to play as Prussia again in a different thematic and see if I can get a colony in the New World or in India. So that's my little goal. But yeah, I like Prussia. I'm tempted to sort of almost redo them, I guess, as the other Empire, as the Lucian campaign didn't go too well, especially as most of the events weren't working as well. Why is music continues to throw me off? We move on to the next one, which is the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, I was looking at them as just this massive faction and think, oh, they're quite easy, but they're actually surrounded by a lot of people. They're the Barbary states ally, but they're at war of the entire map, I think. And I think generally they're quite hard, and I quite like the Ottoman Empire. I think, even though I'm more of a Roman fan, I would say, but I think the Ottoman Empire have a very hard starting position, and I think it can be a very challenging campaign, so I'm all for it. So there you go. On to the next ones. And now we move on to the next one. You'll notice... now this music is from the Patriot film, which is a great film. If you've never seen it, it's great. So this is, of course, the 1783 campaign. So you can see already the US is here. The British have lost their territories in the Americas due to the War of Independence, and have gained some in the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years' War. This music, again, throws me off. I loved it. The Patriot, if you've never seen it, it's a great film. And as someone who's not even American, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, the two options for these guys then. So, let's go through them until we get to them. I love this music. We're definitely getting copyrighted, but I just love this music. So move on to, of course, Sweden. I always quite like the Swedes. They're such an odd little faction. The Scandinavians were known for conquering the, all going across to, founding the first territory in of course, Greenland. And I think it said they partly went into America as well, but you don't know that. Possibly Newfoundland, potentially. Who knows? But we have found evidence of ships or some sort of ships dating back to Scandinavia in like the year 1000. So who knows? So yeah, I mean, who the hell knows? But anyway, Sweden. I quite like Sweden. The idea of forming a Scandinavian empire and invading America again, I just find that really fun. So Sweden. Move on to the next one then. I think it went past it actually. There you are. Poland, Lithuania. Poland was the downtrodden faction in history, getting attacked by the Germans, the Russians on one side. So this time I kind of want to make the Polish a little bit better and see if we can try and get them a colony in the New World or India, and see how we get on with Poland really. So I just think they're quite a hard faction. Moving on finally to the custom campaign start, and this will be the last one. And on to the last one. So the custom campaign, why is that really loud? I just turned the music down. Obviously it hasn't heard me. There we go, it's better. That's a little better. Okay, so the custom campaign adds in a lot of factions. Now the pirates are added in, although they don't work. So the pirates don't work. So, but yeah, it goes through the trouble of adding in some other factions that you won't be able to usually play as. So I quite like that. Like the 13 Colonies is such an interesting faction. The US is basically the 13 Colonies. It's just different time period. So we have 4 factions then for the custom campaign, because there's quite a few different interesting factions, and I thought I'd take the liberty to add in a few more for the custom campaign. So the next faction is Louisiana, because I quite like Louisiana. I just know why. The starting missions was really cool, and I like their banner. The flag was really cool, and I generally think they're just generally an interesting place. New Orleans is a fascinating place. As someone who's played it in Assassin's Creed Liberation, New Orleans is quite interesting. Although Liberation wasn't the best game to replay in, but I think it was alright. Well, Louisiana. My fond memory of Louisiana, because I've never been there in real life in nowadays, other than Assassin's Creed, is once I had this this amazing rap. I went to a tank fest many years ago, and I tried this this like chicken Louisiana wrap, and it was like the most nicest thing on the planet. I can't describe to you how amazing that tasted, and I've been trying to find it ever since. And I've never been able to find it, so unfortunately. So hopefully one day, if I ever go to Louisiana, I'm gonna hunt that wrap down. If any of you viewers are from Louisiana, please tell me where I can find that wrap in this country in the UK. If not, I have to travel across the ocean to go get it myself. Anyway, the next faction then is New Spain, which brings back a few memories. You may recall my Lucian campaign again, that I played Spain for the Bolivar's Revolution, the South America submod that we did for Lucian back when I was on the team. And I played this New Spain. And it was a very hard faction to play. In this scenario, New Spain are just in Mexico. And I quite like New Spain. I think because of that campaign, I just really enjoyed them. So New Spain, I'm quite open to giving them a go as well. And the final two factions is, when I get to them, the Italian states. Just because the addition of the Pope is just hilarious. I don't think the Pope actually works as an actual faction, as the actual like head of state, but it's like an absolute monarchy, the papacy, the Italian states. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're restoring the king. Who knows? But the Italian states, anyway. Yeah, I think they're quite fun. Forming Italy and becoming the great Italian state seems like an interesting idea to me, and I'm keen to do that. And the next one, and the final one, is Portugal. Because Portugal start off with one colony in India. And I think Portugal, obviously this time period, they control Brazil. But I think Portugal in this campaign is just so underrated that I'm just so keen to give them a go. And it is interesting that I did add Spain at all for this vote, wasn't it? So yeah, I didn't add Spain. Mainly because I didn't add Spain, I'll explain why. Because I'm sure some people may ask. Austria, I wasn't too fond of them, I just don't. They're too big, and also just in the centre of Europe, like in the middle of everybody, I wasn't too bothered. But Spain start off with a lot of stuff. They have a load of Spanish territories. I thought, I like Spain, but maybe just not yet. New Spain seemed a bit fun, because I didn't have to worry about Europe and whatnot. So yeah. But yeah, Portugal. Looking forward to them. Will I get to them again? Portugal, yeah. So that's it. That brings us to an end of this vote. It's a bit shorter. I'm trying to make these a bit shorter. But at the same time, I still want to show you what you're voting for those that don't really want to bother installing Empire Total War just to go have a look. So I just saved you a bit of time and myself a bit of time explaining to some people what the factions are and what the starting positions are and whatnot. So here they are. But anyway, that's all for now. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys are looking forward to the Empire Total War campaign as I am. I thoroughly am looking forward to playing something other than Medieval 2, so I'm very keen to jump in with Empire. There's a lot to love about Empire Total War. It's one of my favourite mods. One of my favourite Total War games, I'd say. I'd probably say it's my second Total War game. Third being either Attila or Shogun 2, not really sure. Napoleon's fun too, but Empire, just love it so much more. The addition of America and India, again, as well as all of Europe, is just an interesting, I just love that. And, but yeah, I'll see you all in the vote. I'll see you with the faction that we're playing as. There's quite a few to choose from, in terms of, in the options that I've listed. So I'm looking forward to, getting in with it. There won't be any custom generals for this game. I thought I should probably clarify. I know how to mod Medieval 2 and Rome 1. Well, more Med 2 than I do Rome 1. I haven't really done many Rome 1 things, but I know it's very similar to Medieval 2 in terms of modding, so I probably can do some custom generals for a Rome 1 campaign. But for Empire, I know virtually nothing from that modding. I'm going to jump in pretty much the campaign. We'll just start with this screen, maybe the opening cutscene thing that they do, and then we jump straight in with the start game, choose the stuff, and we're in. Pretty much. So, because I don't need to add any custom generals because I can't do any custom general adding. My modding skills are limited to just Med 2 and Rome 1, I'm afraid, so I can't do any custom generals, I'm afraid. So we just have to roll with the overpowered custom general bodyguards of any factions. Because most of them all come with cavalry bodyguards. Even the natives come with the cavalry bodyguards, so you can't get around it. I think I can't remember if India starts with elephants as bodyguards, actually. I could be wrong. But anyway, that's all for now. I hope you guys are looking forward to the campaign as I am. I will see you all there, hopefully, on the 5th. On the 5th of April, on Friday, hopefully, if all goes according to plan. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and farewell.